So we had a day off here at training camp. We're back at St. John Fisher College. Sammy Watkins back. Cordy Glenn was hurt. It was crazy today. So what really stood out for you?
Well, I think just the ease in which Sammy Watkins kind of brought himself back into the limelight. Well, you know, Sammy Watkins has been down. He hasn't practiced at all in 2016, and today, I mean, he came in, and the word that just kind of seeps through is effortless. That's what Sammy Watkins looked like today on the field. I mean, we're talking about in the routes, in and out of his breaks. I mean, everything Sammy Watkins was doing just seemed just to come so easy to him. And by my estimation, he looked by far the best guy in the field. Now, they did limit his reps. They didn't give him the full go, everything like that. But Sammy Watkins looked the part, and that has to have Bills fans feeling some type of way.
Brandon Spikes comes in. Reggie Ragland reports partial tear, ACL. We don't know how long he's going to be out. So what kind of role does Brandon Spikes play on this team?
Well, I think Brandon Spikes is a depth player, and if he does make the team, then he will be a break glass in case of emergency type if Preston Brown doesn't end up panning out this year. Because that's a legitimate question, Matt. I mean, Preston Brown, a couple of years ago in his rookie season, he even admitted, hey, I wasn't as good as people thought I was. And in his sophomore year, definitely left a lot to be desired. So this coming year, Brandon Spikes is more of a middle linebacker, has experience in that respect. So if Preston Brown doesn't have what it takes and Reggie Ragland isn't available, then perhaps Brandon Spikes is that guy that they look to in the event that anything happens. But right now, he's just a depth player.
We saw Cordy Glenn walking around today with a boot on his foot. What's exactly the deal with him?
Well, he, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL.com, has a high ankle sprain, likely to be done for the preseason, which is smart. You know what Cordy Glenn is, and you don't really need him to go out there and try and prove anything to you. He's signed to a mega deal right now as a left tackle, so you don't have to kind of run him out there as soon as you can. But right now, he's in a walking boot. Kind of concerning, but the good thing is, according to that report, there is no structural damage, so it doesn't seem like Cordy Glenn is in jeopardy of missing too much time, or too much regular season time, I should say.
So a lot of people, you won't see this at home, it was during the portion what we weren't allowed to shoot. But what was Tyrod doing?
I have no idea what he was thinking. It was, like, I asked Rex about it after the fact, and he's just like, I thought what everybody else was thinking. Like, what are you doing? And even one of his teammates said, Ty, screamed at the top of his lungs from across the field, what are you doing? Here's what ended up happening. Tyrod Taylor, in a red zone drill near the end of practice, ends up, scans the field for an open receiver. Couldn't find one. Then he goes and starts to run it towards the left sideline. You think, okay, he's going to run out of bounds at like the 2 or 3 yard line because there's a defender clearly at the goal line engaged with a receiver. So what does he try to do rather than go out of bounds? He tries to jump over the defender and get into the end zone. The defender doesn't know what's going on. He clips him. He helicopters and lands awkwardly on the ground. And Taylor, you know, gets up and walks away like nothing happened. But everyone in the crowd, the front office, the coaching staff were like, why did he do that? It's a training camp practice, and what are you doing?
Legitimately 5 feet, probably maybe 10 feet from me, and it looked like he landed right on the back and the neck, and everybody just went, you just heard the gasps from everybody who was in the stands, everybody who was watching, everybody who was there.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But other than that, did Tyrod have a pretty good day?
I think he did. You know, he was hitting his targets and things like that. It wasn't as strong of a day as it was during the scrimmage. But, you know, I think Tyrod has finally shaken off all the rust that we were talking about early on in camp. And he's starting to finally get to that spot where day in, day out, you know, he's just the same guy. You can depend on him no matter what.
Anything else you want to talk about during this one?
Well, Marcel Darius and Kyle Williams returned today, so that was big. And what I found interesting about that with the defensive line, you know, the guy that stayed on the starting unit with them, Adolphus Washington, the third-round rookie, even though I think he's been outperformed in camp so far by both Corbin Bryant and Jarrell Worthy. So that bears watching as we go forward. But the other interesting thing, Marcel Darius at nose tackle, Kyle Williams on the outside at defensive end. I know some fans would have liked to see that flipped, but that is what the Bills are going with, at least right now.
I think Rex said he believes Marcel Darius is the best nose tackle in the NFL today.
Yeah, he did, and Rex does love to boast about his own players. We do know that about him, but Marcel Darius is pretty darn good. And as far as nose tackles go, I don't know that many have the skill set that he does to be able to both hold his ground and to be able to get into the backfield and disrupt things too.
Awesome. Joe, thank you so much.
Okay.
So another practice again tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Then they practice again Wednesday at 10 a.m. And then a night practice Thursday. So a full week of practices. They get off Friday, then Saturday. Preseason already. Can't believe it. Preseason football this weekend. Hopefully there's not bad paint on the field when the Bills take the field, so they actually play the game. But if you can go on our WKBW app right now for Joe B's 7 observations from today, and if you need to catch up on any day of camp, you got that all for you right on WKBW.com. Have a great night, everybody.